When the world goes quiet after midnight, when the cities dim, the screens shut off, and most people fall asleep, an invisible machine keeps working, a machine that creates money, expands debt, props up nations, and quietly shapes the destiny of every modern government. A machine that has no face, no vote, no public mandate, and yet controls more power than any elected official. This is the hidden wealth machine, the backbone of the global economy, the system beneath the system. Some call it a sovereign wealth fund, others refer to it as a national investment authority. In official reports, it looks harmless, almost boring, a line item buried in a government PDF, but in reality, it is the unseen engine that fuels entire nations. So what exactly is this machine, and how did it become the true power center behind modern states? Dawn breaks over the Norwegian coast. A massive digital display updates the number $1.6 trillion. That's the size of Norway's sovereign wealth fund, the world's largest, roughly $300,000 for every citizen. It sounds like a national jackpot, but that number is only the surface of a far deeper story. Because behind it lies a new reality. Governments are no longer run on taxes alone. They're powered by investment empires. This is not just Norway. In Dubai, Singapore, Beijing, Riyadh, every major nation is in the game, and the rules are simple. The more wealth a nation accumulates, the more companies it buys, the more influence it gains, the more powerful it becomes. Sovereign wealth funds were originally created to protect future generations, but behind closed doors, their real purpose evolved into something much bigger, to secure state power for decades to come. To understand how we got here, we need to go back. In the early 20th century, governments were financially simple. Their income came from taxes, trade, and, if they were lucky, war spoils. But everything changed in the 1970s when oil prices exploded. Suddenly, several nations found themselves drowning in cash. And when governments have too much cash, they face a problem. Where do you put it? The solution was radical for its time. Create giant national investment vehicles. Store excess wealth. Grow it. Multiply it. The sovereign wealth fund was born. It looked like a tiny financial instrument at first, but within decades it evolved into the most powerful economic tool since central banking. Today, sovereign wealth funds collectively control over $11 trillion, more than the entire crypto market, nearly equal to the global value of all mined gold, and much of it is managed in near total secrecy. Imagine waking up and discovering that one of the largest shareholders of your favorite company is not a billionaire investor, not a pension fund, but a foreign government. That's the reality. When sovereign wealth funds invest, they don't buy small positions. They buy influence. They buy access. They buy silence. A slice of an American logistics giant, owned by Singapore, a major stake in a British energy company, Abu Dhabi, a rising share of a European port operator, China. But most people have no idea, because these funds work quietly behind the scenes, moving billions in minutes, without the public ever knowing why. Picture a long conference table in a closed-door meeting room. Around it sit technical experts, investment strategists, and high-ranking civil servants. No cameras, no speeches, no voters. These are the architects of national power, and their strategy is not emotional, not political, not ideological. It is ruthlessly strategic. When a sovereign fund buys energy infrastructure, it's not just chasing profit, it's securing geopolitical leverage. When it invests in ports, it's not about dividends, it's about controlling shipping lanes. When it backs a tech firm, it's not about innovation, it's about owning the future. These funds have become the invisible empires of the 21st century. During the 2008 financial crisis, when global markets collapsed and major banks teetered on the brink, only one group remained steady: the sovereign wealth funds. For them, crises are not disasters. They are opportunities. While investors panicked, these funds waited, then moved in. China bought into American banks. Singapore took stakes in weakened financial giants. The Gulf states quietly expanded their influence across Europe. 14 years later, those investments have multiplied, which raises a critical question: whose interests do these funds truly serve? Officially, the people. Realistically, a much smaller group. When a country faces budget cuts, it's always social programs that get reduced first: schools, healthcare, infrastructure. But sovereign wealth funds, untouchable. They are the sacred vaults of national power, the one financial instrument no leader dares to touch, no matter how deep the crisis runs. The United States has the world's largest military. But China? It has some of the world's largest sovereign funds. Singapore's funds are the biggest per capita. The UAE's funds exceed the budgets of 20 European countries combined. This is not capitalism. This is not socialism. This is state capitalism on a global chessboard, and every sovereign fund is a queen piece. Late at night on the London Stock Exchange, a quiet transaction hits the ticker. A major European company wakes up the next morning to find that a foreign sovereign fund has quietly purchased 3% of its shares. No press release, no announcement, no warning. The newspapers call it market confidence, but it isn't confidence. It's acquisition, it's strategy, it's control. Today, sovereign funds hold strategic stakes in airports, energy grids, telecom networks, shipping ports, semiconductor companies, and financial institutions across the world. They don't vote, but they influence everything. Now here's the deeper question: where does the money for these funds actually come from? The truth is uncomfortable. Not from taxes, not from war spoils, not even from budget surpluses. Modern sovereign funds are powered by the modern monetary system itself. Debt issuance, money creation, bond markets, oil revenues, export surpluses, all funneled into one unstoppable engine. Some funds use oil as collateral. Others use gas revenues. Some use trade surpluses. Some are fed directly by central banks. But the most powerful source is simple: money printing. Governments borrow. Governments issue bonds. Governments create money. And the funds invest it, globally. People see their governments drowning in debt and wonder, how are they still functioning? The answer: because the public balance sheet is not the real balance sheet. Governments can run deficits, but sovereign wealth funds can run surpluses. The left hand can be broke, while the right hand buys half the world. That's not a contradiction. That's the structure. The US has $34 trillion in debt. Japan's debt is twice its GDP. Europe struggles with deficits, but at the same time, their sovereign funds and state-backed investment arms quietly grow, expanding their reach, shaping industries, buying influence. The budget is the face. The fund is the skeleton. So why all the secrecy? Because sovereign wealth funds operate outside democratic accountability. Because they remain powerful no matter who wins an election. Because the people managing them are often unknown. And because no citizen truly knows where the money goes or why. These are the new aristocrats of the modern world, not kings, not presidents, not CEOs, but unelected stewards of national empires. Every major country now depends on its wealth machine. Money is no longer just currency, it's a weapon. Sovereign wealth funds wield it with cold precision. Owning 1% of a tech giant means access to global data flows. Buying a port means controlling the trade lifelines of entire regions. Taking stakes in energy firms means influencing the future of entire continents. Every investment is a pressure point. Every acquisition is leverage. Every partnership is a strategic foothold. And these funds never stop expanding. The fate of nations is no longer decided in parliaments, not in congresses, not in voting booths. It is decided in boardrooms, investment offices, and sovereign wealth committees. Governments can collapse. Leaders can resign. Elections can shift rhetoric. But the wealth machine keeps running because it is too powerful, too connected, too deeply embedded into the global economic system to ever stop. It is the beating heart of modern governance. And the final question remains, who can stop a machine that even governments depend on? The answer is simple: no one. To stop the wealth machine would be to stop the state itself. And no state would ever choose to dismantle its own source of power. So the machine runs on, quietly, invisibly, relentlessly, shaping our world with every passing hour. We sleep, it works. And it reminds us of a final chilling truth. In the modern world, real power doesn't belong to those who hold the money, but to those who control its flow.